Hi to all those mums out there who's going through forced adoption into labour. Well, I'll start like this. I was actually told by my GP to go into hospital through Group B, and I was actually put onto a drip, and they were looking after me, changing a drip. But before they put drip on, I had to wait a complete day to have that fluid put down to me while I was expecting my child, which my family, especially my dad, didn't actually like it because I was going right pale. But in the meantime, while I was waiting for that, about 9 o'clock, I got to the location in the evening where my GP told me to go, and then about 9 o'clock I was put onto the drip, and I started feeling better with the child inside me. Then as I was feeling better, they was changing the drip over. There was a discussion with the SS and the health authority, which the SS was organising getting access to my medical notes without my written agreement in for me to be started off, so that they could just whip the child away from me. My partner come up to the hospital without me knowing, when I already told him last time, like I told you in my last interview, that I didn't want nothing to do with him. The health authority just continued him to actually be there with me when I didn't want him to be there. So as he comes into the actual location bit, when I wasn't in labour, where they actually put me to location, without me actually knowing, my former partner was there, which they undergoed, actually starting me off under when I was unconscious asleep without me knowing, with my former partner, my former partner was present, and the SS gave the actual health authority, no, it's a bit upsetting, excuse me public, a health authority actual permission in for him to be so. And within, that was going on while I was asleep, and then within the next morning I woke up and I found my stomach, you know, when you rub your stomach there's a bump there, I found my stomach had gone down. And they turned around and told me that I had a girl, and the baby was actually in intensive care with my former partner. So I said, I'll go and see her. They said, no, we're leaving her with your former partner. And the guards literally told me to go off the grounds while my former partner was actually looking after the location. What was actually going on behind my back. So I sort of thought, you know, baby marketing machine. I wasn't relevant. My former partner is relevant. His family is relevant. Now do all you mums out there who are actually going through forced adoption think that is fair? Because I don't. But in the meantime, I'll now give you another EG example where I was actually in another location with another little boy. When I tried my hardest, I actually got rid of my former partner this time. And if you're out there, John, Trevor, take no notice of what they're saying your name, because you have got the best name going, my boy, and I'm going to talk as if you're talking, because you've been named after your grandfather, how you were actually put up for forced adoption was Mummy was actually at her previous location doing her day-to-day stuff, seeing her friends, being involved with your with your grandma and your auntie and your nieces and your nephews, and doing her day-to-day stuff. Had a little voluntary. I had to be rushed into hospital, my darling, because not Mummy's fault. It's just that there was something sort of wrong with Mummy's sort of health problems, which she's worried about when you were inside her. So I went into hospital then, and then I come out, and your nanny brought me back home, John. And when your nanny brought me back home, darling, I opened the door, John. And to believe it or not, I had to quickly close the door, because I only saw that nasty, terrible, horrible, wicked old daddy standing there. So what I done, darling, while you were in my tummy, was I went up to Nanny's, told Nanny, and Nanny phoned the police up. But Nanny tried hard, so did Mummy try hard. But at the end of the day, all Nanny got but your Nanny's daughter. So then Nanny turned around and told the police when Mummy went up there to save you, to stay with me, darling. Nanny even had, and so did Mummy even had, we just had the wool pull over our eyes. That's what I was then saying, you know. How can I put this? Is that, you know, all you mums out there who are going through forced adoption, you know, when you get turned around and told by your own mums that you aren't relevant, they won't like it, or he won't like it, when at the end of the day, when you carry your own child for 9 months, you when at the end of the day, when you carry your own child for 9 months, you prepare for your own child for 9 months, you finally get rid of your, how can I put it, you finally actually get rid of your former partner, and then your former partner keeps coming back, like a bad penny, which tends to spoil you want to bring up your actual own bundle. When, I'll just give you an easy example, with what, you know, you get some really good adoption people, which I've actually have spoke to in my time, where I've had many friends who has adopted children, where the actual birth mum, how can I put this, where the actual birth mum, the actual birth mum actually, you know, save an actual child, bring the child into this world, when the actual biological mum was actually going to have it aborted. Women who adopt children don't buy the love, actually help the child. But then you get my certain cases with all your mums up there, you get my certain cases where you end up feeling like a baby machine. Then you find out, you know, through these other adopters, where they actually bring the child into their own life, where I've actually met someone, you know, many locations about. So they are, miles and miles away out, but if I could get my hands onto my friends who used to be adopted, and bring those children what come out into a life where those sort of biological mothers end up having them aborted, and you take children away in good loving homes like I do, and like the adopters, some adopters do to children, and then people who abuse children, you know, end up carry on abusing it.